I never thought I'd make it to 101. Hell, most days back in my 70s, I wasn't sure I'd see 80. But here I am, sitting on my porch in Asheville, North Carolina, watching the Blue Ridge Mountains turn purple in the evening light. And I need to tell you something that might save your life. Because for decades, I did one thing every single day that nearly killed me, and I see people making the same mistake everywhere I look. My name's Robert, but folks around here just call me Bob. I've lived in this same house on Montfort Avenue since 1962, raised 3 kids here, buried a wife I loved more than breathing, and somehow kept on going. These days, my grandson Jimmy says I'm sharper than men half my age, and my doctor, she's young enough to be my great-granddaughter, keeps telling her colleagues I'm some kind of medical mystery. But I wasn't always this way, not by a long shot. The habit I'm talking about isn't what you'd expect. It wasn't smoking, though I did that for a while in the Army. Wasn't drinking, though I enjoyed my bourbon well enough. It wasn't even sitting around doing nothing, which seems to be what kills most retired folks I knew. No, my daily habit was something that doctors actually recommended, something I thought was keeping me healthy, something that made me feel like I was doing everything right. Every single morning for 43 years, I skipped breakfast. I can see you thinking that doesn't sound so bad. Maybe you do it yourself. Maybe you've heard about intermittent fasting and figured I was just ahead of my time. But let me tell you exactly what happened to my body, and why by the time I was 76 years old, I could barely climb the stairs in my own home. It started innocently enough back in 1963. I was working at the textile mill on Riverside Drive, and mornings were chaos. Get up, get dressed, get out the door by 6:15 to make the shift. My wife, Helen, would offer me eggs and toast, but I'd just grab coffee. Black, strong, and usually half cold by the time I drank it in the truck. I told myself I wasn't hungry anyway, and besides, I'd eat a big lunch. That was the pattern. Coffee for breakfast, huge lunch at noon, decent dinner, repeat. At first, nothing seemed wrong. I was young, strong, working 10-hour shifts doing physical labor. My body compensated. But here's what I didn't understand, what nobody understood back then, about what I was doing to myself on a cellular level. Every morning, my body woke up after hours of fasting during sleep, desperately needing fuel to repair the damage from the previous day. And what did I give it? A stimulant that jacked up my cortisol and absolutely nothing else. Then I'd go do heavy physical labor for 6 hours before finally eating. My body went into survival mode every single day. For years, this seemed fine. I was maintaining my weight, had plenty of energy from that huge lunch, felt like I was doing okay. But somewhere in my late 40s, things started changing. I began getting what I called the shakes mid-morning. My hands would tremble. I'd get irritable and foggy-headed, and I'd snap at my crew for no good reason. I blamed it on getting older, on stress, on the damn mill being too hot. By my 50s, I was having what my doctor called hypoglycemic episodes. My blood sugar would crash so hard I'd nearly pass out. I started keeping candy bars in my truck, eating them around 10 a.m. just to function. See the pattern? Still no breakfast, just coffee, and then sugar to rescue me from the hole I dug. My body was on a roller coaster, and I was the one pushing it downhill every morning. Then came my 60s. Helen got sick, cancer, and I retired early to take care of her. You'd think without the mill, without the early mornings, I'd have changed my habits. But routines are powerful things, especially ones you've done for decades. I still woke up, still drank my coffee, still skipped breakfast. Only now I wasn't doing physical labor to burn through that huge lunch. The weight started piling on around my middle, even though I was eating less than I had in years. My doctor at the time, old Dr. Patterson, told me I was pre-diabetic. My liver enzymes were elevated. My blood pressure was creeping up. He put me on medications and told me to exercise more and eat less. Nobody, not one medical professional, asked me about my breakfast habits, or rather, my lack of them. Helen died in 1999, 2 months after her diagnosis. Fastest and slowest 2 months of my life. After she was gone, I stopped caring about much of anything. I'd drink my coffee, maybe eat some crackers for lunch if I remembered, have a frozen dinner at night. I lost weight, but not the good kind. I was wasting away, weak as a kitten, and I didn't care. My daughter Sarah, she lives in Charlotte now, came to visit and found me passed out on the kitchen floor. I'd been there for 6 hours. The doctors said my blood sugar had bottomed out. I was severely malnourished despite being overweight, and my muscle mass was so depleted I was at risk for falls and fractures. I was 76 years old and shutting down. That's when I met Dr. Patel. She was doing rounds at Mission Hospital, young Indian woman with more energy than seemed possible. She sat down next to my bed, and instead of lecturing me, she asked me to walk her through a typical day. What time I woke up, what I ate, when I ate it, how I felt at different times. When I told her about skipping breakfast for 4 decades, her eyes went wide. "Mr. Harrison," she said, "you've been starving your body every morning for longer than I've been alive. Your metabolism is broken. Your body doesn't trust you to feed it, so it's been hoarding every calorie you give it and refusing to build muscle because it thinks you're in a famine." She explained that the human body, especially as it ages, needs protein and nutrients first thing in the morning, not 5 hours later, not after coffee and cortisol have told it to break down its own muscle for energy. She said that my decades of skipping breakfast had essentially trained my body to cannibalize itself every single morning, and that pattern had led directly to my prediabetes, my muscle loss, my dangerous blood sugar crashes, and my overall decline. I didn't believe her at first. How could something as simple as skipping breakfast cause all that? But she showed me the research, explained the science of circadian rhythms and protein synthesis, and insulin sensitivity. She told me that the first meal of the day sets the metabolic tone for the next 24 hours, and I'd been setting mine to emergency starvation mode for 43 years. She gave me a challenge. Eat breakfast every single day for 30 days. Not sugary cereal or a muffin, real food, eggs or oatmeal with nuts, or Greek yogurt with berries. Protein and complex carbohydrates within an hour of waking up. Track how I felt. If I didn't notice a difference, I could go back to my old ways. That was 25 years ago. I'm 101 now, and I haven't skipped breakfast since that conversation. The changes didn't happen overnight, but they happened. Within a week, the mid-morning shake stopped. Within 2 weeks, my energy was more stable throughout the day. Within a month, I'd gained 3 pounds of muscle, actual muscle, which my body had apparently forgotten how to build. Within 3 months, my blood sugar stabilized, and Dr. Patel started reducing my medications. But here's the part that really gets me, the part I need you to understand. It wasn't just about the food. It was about what that daily habit had done to my relationship with my own body. For 4 decades, I'd been telling my body every single morning that I didn't have time for it, that its needs weren't important, that it should just deal with whatever I threw at it. And my body, loyal as any dog, had tried its best to keep me going anyway. But eventually, it started to break down. It had to. Now, sitting here at 101, I eat breakfast every morning at 7 a.m., usually 2 eggs, whole wheat toast with real butter, and some fruit. Sometimes oatmeal with walnuts and blueberries. Nothing fancy. But that meal tells my body, we're okay. There's fuel. You can build instead of breaking down. You can repair instead of just surviving. My friends from the mill, the ones who are still around, they're in nursing homes or hooked up to oxygen machines. Most of them didn't make it to 80. And when I think about the difference between us, it's not that I had better genes or got luckier. It's that 25 years ago, I changed one daily habit that had been slowly killing me. I see young people now doing what I did, rushing out the door with nothing but coffee, convinced they'll make up for it later, thinking they're saving time or calories or both. I see the intermittent fasting craze, and I want to grab people by the shoulders and tell them, be careful. Your body keeps score. Maybe intermittent fasting works for some people, I don't know. But I know what 43 years of unintentional intermittent fasting did to me, and I'm lucky I survived it. Jimmy asks me all the time what my secret is. Folks in town joke that I've got a portrait aging in the attic somewhere. But there's no secret, no magic. I just stopped the one daily habit that was destroying my health from the inside out. I started feeding my body when it needed to be fed. I started treating it like a partner instead of an inconvenience. The mountains are almost dark now, and I should head inside to start dinner. But I wanted to tell you this story, because someone out there needs to hear it. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're rushing out the door right now, skipping breakfast for the 1,000th time, telling yourself it doesn't matter. Maybe you've been doing it for years and you feel fine. I felt fine too, right up until I didn't. Your body is keeping score. It remembers every morning you ignored its needs, and one day it'll present you with the bill. I got lucky. I got Dr. Patel and a second chance, but not everyone does. So don't repeat my mistake. Don't let one seemingly harmless daily habit steal decades from your life. Eat breakfast. Feed your body. Treat it with the respect it deserves. It's been carrying you around all these years, and it deserves better than what I gave mine for 43 of them. Trust me on this one. I'm 101 years old, and I learned it the hard way, so maybe you won't have to.